Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a video review. And for this review, I'm going to be taking a look at the Outer Worlds for the PlayStation 4. Game's also available on the Xbox One and PC via Epic Game Store right now, and it's also coming soon to the Nintendo Switch. And also, I want to give my thoughts on the movies Knives Out that I recently just saw. And if you're interested in any gameplay footage or anything like that, I'll have a link in the description down below. The Outer Worlds is sort of an interesting game when they originally announced it. The whole idea that made from the developers of the original Fallout and who also did the game Fallout New Vegas, which for a lot of Fallout fans that game holds high regards. Now, I never played Fallout New Vegas, but I've heard some good things about it. And with the way the Fallout series is right now, especially with the whole Fallout 76 debacle, which has really, let's just say, exposed Bethesda big time. I think for some gamers or for long-time Fallout fans, they've been looking for a true Fallout game. Well, I will say, having invested a whole lot of time in this game, though, the Outer Worlds certainly delivers. I've been obsessed and been playing this game whenever I get a chance, and it's probably one of the funnest games I've seen so far this year that has been released on the PS4. And not to mention the fact that this is coming to Nintendo Switch soon is pretty amazing. But so is this game sort of like Game of the Year material in any way? In my honest opinion, yeah, I think there are a lot of things about it I like, but maybe just one criticism that I don't think it's a big deal, but everyone will have a different view on that. So why don't we get started with the pros and cons on the Outer Worlds, and we'll start off first with the pros. The first one is the Fallout-like gameplay. Anybody who's played a Fallout game before, whether it's like Fallout 4 or Fallout New Vegas or even Skyrim, will feel kind of home. He'll feel right at home with the Outer Worlds. The gameplay is mostly through a first-person point of view, though. You do have the abilities to, bring in companions, AI companions, which for me are very good and all that stuff, though. You do have the ability to slow down time and take your time to study enemies or shoot them and all that stuff. But just like the Fallout games, you do have choices, and sometimes some of those choices may have consequences. Some of them will help a certain factors, others may not help a certain factors. You could choose to lie, persuade, intimidate, depending on how well your skill is at that point, though. But for the most part, the gameplay is very similar to what the Fallout series, games like Fallout 3 and 4 are. And if you like that type of gameplay, though, you'll definitely like the Outer Worlds. Next thing I do want to talk about is the music and the voice acting. And I have to say, the voice acting in this game is very good. I like some of the characters in the game, and I think the way that they present these characters are really interesting and so forth, and the music is definitely spot on this game. You definitely get a sense with the music. I definitely get a little bit of somewhat of a Mass Effect vibe to it in a way, and that's definitely not a bad thing at all. So in terms of music and voice acting, though, it's definitely good. The next thing I do want to talk about is the story, and the story in the game is really interesting. It kind of gives off a little bit of Bioshock meets Borderlands meets Fallout meets Mass Effect in a way, and it's sort of, you definitely do get that kind of vibe to it. Everything looks like, in a way, it looks like something like you would see, those old 1950s where they talk about the world of tomorrow and so forth. So you definitely get a little bit of that in its way, and the whole and ties into the whole gameplay. It's just, the world's just very, very impressive. The whole story in the game just looks really nice and all that stuff. You basically wake up from being in hibernation, and you sort of have to make your way to wake up other colonies on I forgot the name of the ship. Damn it, I forgot the name of the ship. But along the way, you do get to make choices and all that stuff. Like I said, in the gameplay, some good, some comes down to how you view it, though. But in terms of story-wise, it's really good. And last but not least is the visuals. I do want to say, for a game that runs on Unreal Engine 4 and all that stuff, it actually looks really nice. The character models look nice in the game, and some of the enemies look good. I mean, it puts a lot of what Bethesda did with their own creation engine to really to shame. I mean, no offense. I mean, I think Fallout 4 looks, it certainly isn't bad, but the visuals in the Outer Worlds really just blows it out of the water big time and all that stuff. So visually, it looks nice, especially for a game running on the Unreal Engine 4 to be exact. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to get to part 2, the cons, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on the movie Knives Out. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of our video review of the Outer Worlds for the PS4. As I said, the game also available on the Xbox One and PC via the Epic Games Store at the moment. So now that I gave you the pros, well, I'll get started with the cons. And really, in all honesty though, there's really only one con I could think of in regards of the Outer Worlds, and I will say it's the visuals. Now, I do want to say the game still looks nice and all that stuff. I love the art style and everything that the Outer Worlds has to offer, especially playing this off of my base PS4. That said, when compared to other games like, say, Horizon Zero Dawn or say God of War or even Death Stranding and all that stuff, I would say it's not as good as those other games or anything like that. It certainly isn't a terrible looking game. It looks well and all that stuff, and I certainly think it's better than, say, Bethesda's Skyrim or the Fallout series that they've handled. So I certainly think it's better than those games, but not as good as, say, like the games that I just mentioned, you know, like Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, Death Stranding, so all that part. But that's really the only real con I could think of in regards of the Outer Worlds, though. I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not a terrible looking game, but it's not the best looking game I've seen on the PS4. Overall, despite that one con that I really had in regards to the Outer Worlds, I still think this is a fantastic and very fun game. The gameplay is still enjoyable and fun, especially for those who like, you know, the games like Fallout and so forth, or those who played maybe like Fallout New Vegas and all that stuff. The music, voice acting, the world just looks impressive in this game. I definitely would go as far as saying this would definitely be put on the list of Game of the Years. I feel as though the Outer World does what Bethesda isn't doing with the Fallout series at this time, since they are so hell-bent on the whole subscription live service with Fallout 76 and so forth. And seeing how well this game looks, though, honestly, and I could be wrong on this, I think it's going to put pressure on Bethesda, because now they're really going to have to deliver with games like Starfield and the next entry in the Elder Scrolls series. And whether people want to hear this or not, I would not be surprised if I see some people say, is it as good as the Outer Worlds or anything like that? So don't be surprised if you see that or anything like that. So, but overall, Outer Worlds is definitely a good game. It is a recommendation, especially if you like, you know, RPGs or first-person shooters in general. And I definitely do believe that I definitely would be open to the idea of seeing a sequel. But with Obsidian being purchased now by Microsoft, though, it kind of throws that up in the air whether or not we'll ever see a sequel, or whether if a sequel happens, now that they're owned by Microsoft, it will be an Xbox exclusive only. So we'll have to wait and see. But my final take on it, it's definitely worth a pickup. I say get the Outer Worlds. It's definitely a fun game, at least from my perspective, it is. Okay, before I end this video, I do want to give my thoughts on the movie Knives Out. Now, I saw this today, and this was actually a good movie and all. It's sort of a dark comedy meets like a murder mystery and so forth. And the cast of characters are very interesting. I mean, Daniel Craig is in it, which I'm honestly surprised that he was able to, for a British actor and all, I'm surprised he was able to pull off a Southerner's accent. That was pretty impressive, though. Chris Evans is in this, and I think Jamie Lee Curtis as well. So it has a really interesting cast of characters, and the whole story evolves around, you know, the mystery of this one of the, basically the granddad who owns this house and owns this, who's a famous writer and so forth. And there's sort of a lot of plots and twists into it, and you kind of, until they reveal the ending and a lot of stuff. And certain characters are played, including even the helper of basically this author and so forth. So it's a very interesting movie. There are some funny moments as well, but being this is a dark comedy, there is certainly some dark tones to it. But I'm was actually very impressed with this movie, though. So, and it's something, you know, it's interesting to see Chris Evans do something outside now that he's, I assume, done with playing Captain America and so forth. And interesting to see Daniel Craig do something outside of, you know, playing James Bond and so forth. So overall, I would say Knives Out is actually a very enjoyable movie, to be exact, and it's probably worth taking a look at this one. I mean, it's not a big blockbuster and so forth, but whatever. Not every movie has to be a big blockbusters or anything like that. So overall, if you have the time, check out Knives Out. It's actually a very entertaining movie. Okay, this concludes my review of the Outer Worlds for the PS4 and my thoughts on the movie Knives Out. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about the Outer Worlds? Do you believe this is Game of the Year? Have you picked up the game? Have you enjoyed it? Do you think in any way this puts Fallout to shame in any way? And do you think this could put pressure on Bethesda to really have to deliver with games like Starfield and the upcoming Skyrim in any way? Do you think we'll see a Outer Worlds sequels and all that stuff? What are your thoughts about the movie Knives Out? Did you get a chance to see it? Did you enjoy the movie? Do you like the idea of the mixture of, say, like a dark comedy and sort of a murder mystery to it in any way? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off in the comment section below. Let me know what you think, and I hope you hit that like button. I would appreciate it, and I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You could do it through PayPal Me or Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that will be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!